And let's see. You can hit pretty dang hard. That's, yeah, an 88. Let's get you out into the open spaces. For those unaware, the oozes in an open space are much more likely to split when taking damage. So that's always a good way to take care of them when they start grouping into those big masses, especially if they get as far as something like Titanic. Jeez Louise, you best be wishing you have a nice open space to lead them back to. And let's soften you up with a few boomerangs that are kind of ineffectual. I guess I should probably use this hand crossbow instead. Might get a little more heavy lifting done before business comes a knocking. Fantastic. In fact, let's again remember to swap back. Hello, my ugly friends. Shouldn't be too bad to face off against all you sons of guns as long as we try to narrow it down to just a couple at once. Fantastic. Definitely not the end of the world. Okie dokie, I'm liking Vault so far. This honestly feels better than Snake did, which isn't too surprising, seeing as how Snake generally sucks a heck of a lot. Let's say no to this little... let's say yes to this little vault is, of course, what I was going to say. Perfect, just as we planned. Fantastic. And let's see, Magic Scroll Shop. Don't mind if I do. Ooh. Ooh, requirement. Something you like about high-level transmutations is that they don't render each other obsolete. That's true. Resistance Torment is good. Augmentation, 50% extra HP on Dragon is good, and Stormform damage is good. That's true. No, that's a very good point, Ninth. And man, Arcblade is fun, isn't it? Isn't it just the swellest? Super cool stuff. Definitely buying Fear Scroll for that cheap. I might even just buy Holy Word to get an ID out of the way, though I do see a bunch of ID scrolls for sale here, so maybe let's pick up a few of those while we're at it. And Scroll of Acquirement too. We're just going to go on a spending spree, a bit of a splurge day for us here. And let's ID these 3 potions that I had my eye on. Cancellation, Ambrosia, and Attraction. Not too shabby. And what have you got for me, Acquirement? Resistance to Fire, Kite Shield. Ooh. You do know that I'm severely lacking in that department game. 411 gold pieces is a bit of a disappointment to say the least. It's normally nice when you're worshipping Gozeg that acquirement scrolls, for once, that gold option starts to look real attractive. 411? Maybe not quite so much. So I think we'll take the shield regardless of whether we end up using it or not. And we'll keep it around. Resistance to fire and corrosion is probably worth losing the reflection brand. As much as I love reflection, that is kind of nice. Kind of schwanky. Scrolls of Disappointment never failed a disappointment. And at least that's something we can all rely on in life. That's simple fact. But okie dokie, let's grab the shield for now, since we may use it. Maybe, maybe not, but it's at least worth the time of day to maybe check out. And then what else can we drop here just to make some extra room? Kind of want my positive energy ring. The Arlek ring, I guess, can probably go. Good old Sisanek here. Sisasek? There we go. Kind of got there, maybe, by the end. What else, though? 5 Scrolls of Torment. Again, that's something that I'll carry around this whole time, telling myself that I'll put them to some fun, good use. Which is not true, but hey, it's all about the little white lies that we tell ourselves to sleep at night. And then let's get the heck out of dodge here real quick. Okay, if we're not wearing that resistance to electricity ring, I feel like, do we have to wear our sword? No, our boots have it. Fantastic, that's good. Do we need a want to dig in, really? No, not really. Not completely necessary, to say the least. It's still kind of nice to have. Just because we don't have to worry about drain if we need to start truly mass tunneling to get out of a tricky situation. But I think you have a point there. An argument could be made. And yes, Vindard, our weapon does, but I was essentially wondering for when we swapped away. Like, when we were on our crossbow, it seemed like we took a pretty heavy hit from the Thunder Hulk. But turns out it was just my imagination, because we do in fact have electricity resistance, regardless of whether we're wielding the arc blade. But I guess it's just the way the rolls line up sometime, or sometimes even. Not the end of the world though. And let's see. This is somewhere where I hit the tab key way too fast, and it could have definitely come back to bite me in the butt, because as soon as that corrosion hits some ridiculous, like, minus 12 levels, I'm definitely in trouble. But hey. No dice for our friend today, and we can just keep on rolling. I don't think I need any more ID. Perfect, so let's start leaving those on the floor. In fact, if we take a quick peek at the status on scrolls and potions, yeah, it's just 2 of each here, so we might need 1 or 2 more ID scrolls as we continue on. I guess part of that is whether we'd want to accidentally waste these. Like, I don't want to read a silence, blind read it. Brand weapon, not too bad, that's fine. Experience in magic, that I can just chug, so I guess we probably don't need to waste an ID scroll in that department. So that's Vaults 1, and hey, not too bad. We'll definitely take this as a good opportunity to stretch. In fact, I think we will have to take just a slight recess here. Looking at the time, I do need to quickly pour a bowl of food for my sweet doggo here, but then I will be right back to continue on, and hopefully we can continue keeping Adam alive. That's the dream at the very least, but don't go anywhere and I'll be back right away. See you in just a sec. Okie dokie. Blind read next to an ancient lich to not waste it. I guess that's one way to go about it. Doing can be nice even as Formicid, because you may not want to giga drain. Exactly, not for sure. One digging is also quicker if you want to see what's on the other side of the wall. Yeah, no, lots of little reasons. I mean, if we're truly desperate for space, but I think there's a lot of garbage that I don't need to be carrying around, but I kind of keep on me out of habit. Like Potions of Brilliance. Am I ever going to use those? Probably not. But what if I want to feel really smart? And definitely need at least 1 for the exit, because you know how I like to just stack up as many effects as we can on our way out? What would I do without being the smartest person in the room as we try and leave the dungeon? You know what I mean? And we're running a slight risk with how many walls we're standing next to as these sons of guns come our way, or most specifically the one son of a gun. But the Frostheart shouldn't be able to do too much damage with 3 pips of cold resistance, and we'll just blast our way through all these sons of guns real quick. Perfect. And we'll have lots of arrows there. Could store my spare brilliance potions at the exit. That would just be too smart though, fun. Who do you take me for? Someone who actually thinks through the repercussions of my actions? Let's not get too silly here. It's much more like me to just fly by the seat of my pants and watch what happens. Enjoy the ensuing chaos, as it were. There we go. Lovely little crowd of enemies for us. Fortunately, the Preserver didn't make their way in with the rest of the lot, so we don't have to worry about them constantly topping off to full health. 'Cause that can definitely be a bit of a pain in the rear. Even just you alone can sometimes take way longer to fight than I care to admit. But hey, there we have it. And all of our upstairs to boot. Fantastic stuff. It does mean that this is a pretty big level without too many upstairs spread throughout the entire place, so we might have to keep that at least slightly in mind. Make sure that we don't put ourselves in too rough of a predicament here as time goes on. Oh, my Sphinx friend. And oh, there's actually a door here. That's much better than going down that long area. Or not. I thought this would open up just right into this son of a gun, but hey, that's fine. And look at that, more brilliance potions for us to lug around for no reason whatsoever. Perfect. You'd love to see it. You know, that went about how I should have expected it. I don't like facing against the Entropy Weaver this early on in the encounter, because again, if that corrosion stacks up, we're going to be in a deep, deep pit of trouble. But fortunately, does not seem to be the case. Going down to only -4 is not the end of the world. Is Rift worth switching to? Not that you say that Rift is a good weapon, easily endgame good, especially on certain characters. Rift can be a lot of fun. That's a wacky one to say the least. So oftentimes I feel like I have to switch with it just to take full advantage of the situation. Since it's not so often that you get to just distort people all over the place, and that extra tile of reach is huge. Absolutely fantastic. But let's take all of our new friends on a bit of a hike, shall we? Wait a second. Did you all see that? Did you know that Vault Wardens can heal doors? Because this door was broken by the Entropy Weaver, was it not? Am I mixing this up with another door? I feel like this door got healed. Magically resealed, as it were. They should, instead of murdering adventurers, put that to good work. Imagine how much money they could make in the industry by being able to make repairs like that. Like, you could get a good job out in the real world, you know what I mean? I feel like your talents are wasted here in vaults, really, at the end of the day. It's kind of sad. But, of course, to each their own. If you're happy here, then all the power to you, and don't let me slow you down, you Vault Warden Sons of Guns. I guess your name wouldn't be quite as fitting if you moved industries, but imagine the cash flow, my man. Yeah, they're magical like that. Indeed, it seems so, eh? Oh, hello there, friend. We don't have great fire resistance, but we can get to you. They're a pretty tough fight, though. We have Mirror. Fortunately, they can't paralyze us regardless, so there's that. Long way to the service world from vaults. I mean, the only way to get there, though, is one foot in front of the other. You gotta start someday. Why not today? You know what I'm saying? Okay, Satua, what do we want to do with you, hey? Our odds are a heck of a lot better than they once were. In fact, if I just pop around this corner real quick, and we can swap over to this shield. Oh, we just put on time. I was about to say, why isn't the game giving me the warning? Why isn't it asking me if I want to keep dressing myself? But that makes sense. Ice Blast, if we've got any. We've got very few charges of Ice Blast. So there's that, I guess. Let's see. Our own dragon friend will be hurt if we try to swoop in here. Yeah, that susceptibility to ice might be pretty huge, though. So let's slip it in now that we get the opportunity. A few blasts of that. It also does a nice job of weeding out some of the other enemies while we're at it. In fact, if I can just do one more and potentially kill the Preserver, love to see it. And we're pretty dang close to killing our favorite unique. Fantastic. Not too bad. Could they even leave the vaults as they have the rune lock? Oh, that's another very good point. Huh. Is it locked from both sides? Can you not get out of vaults? In fact, have all of these Sons of Guns been trapped in here for, I don't know, decades, generations, even millennia for all we know? Huh, no wonder they're so aggressive. They haven't really had the opportunity to meet new people ever. Still very unfamiliar with the whole concept, I'm sure. I too would murder indiscriminately any adventurers that came my way. Okie dokie, let's bring our new friends a little bit away from St. Roca, if at all possible, and then we can just try and murder all of you. Because we did, unfortunately, just use our Phantom Mirror, which is always helpful against any unique, St. Roca included. Keep that in mind. We could visit Crypt and Tomb to meet some new undead. I guess, yeah, when times are tough, you gotta make friends with anyone who will give you the time of day, right? That makes sense. There we go. Okay, kill the Preserver right away. Just keep out of sight of the Convoker as much as I possibly can so that they don't get as much of an opportunity to completely ruin my day. Instead, they'll just mostly ruin my day. Perfect. There we go. We do manage to take them down. That is absolutely huge. And then we'll just keep this Javelin business going nicely, getting those good penetration shots. Soon enough, we'll be able to do that with a bow as well if we do manage to get the Stormbow up and running. So very, very much looking forward to that. They can even go to the Abyss if they go annoy some wizards. I know, in my experience, anytime you want to get sent to the Abyss by those wizards, no shot that they oblige. If you're on a character that is going to immediately get absolutely slaughtered on a trip to the Abyss, that's when they're guaranteed to show up. You, my friend, are not who we wish to see here. So I do want to make it back to this choke point. That could be pretty huge. Also need to make sure the Convoker doesn't keep railing off, and again, unfortunately this buddy, because they're fast, is going to be popping shots at us the entire trip over, which you don't love. Could go early net. Just trying to get them off of our back for at least a brief respite here. 18% chance to hit you. Okay, maybe not so much. Hold up. New plan. Yeah, might just have to start fighting, I guess. 57% chance to evade. The other option is we do have the lightning rod here, which at the very least is guaranteed to hit. Ooh, and we can get some bounce shots going on. Let's see, something like this. Oh, that's so close. So close. I'm even tempted to kind of self-sack with an Ice Blast here. Let's check something out. How much damage do you do, my friend? Where's Ice Blast? 3d17 is... that's a lot of damage. But it would kill the Blade Master, would likely kill the Convoker, might even kill our great Orb of Eyes friend here. Good damage to the Elf Knight. In fact, 3d17 is 51? Technically could kill you. Not very likely by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe. Well, you have a D8 with only 2 accessible stairs, both guarded by separate 8-headed hydras, and somewhere a D-Bell Pyromancer is wandering that floor too. Ooh. That's a rough D8 for sure. I mean, what else would you expect though? D8? 8-headed hydras? Coincidence? I think not. But probably coincidence. Okay, do you know what? Let's just Ice Blast. It's very likely to hit me. We're gonna do it. We must be out of our gosh darn mind, but here we are. We have good cold resistance, so we don't have to worry too much about you, except I guess your axe hacks a wall up. Oh, especially when you're mited. That makes sense. Fortunately, we can kind of run, again, because we have such high cold resistance. Whenever they decide to do that, it's pretty much just a waste of their turn. Our regen amulet is healing us faster than they can dish out the damage, as it were, so that is fantastic. Remind me never to fight a mighted giant again. That seems silly. Oh, this is a dead end. Huh. Pretty risky move. You like to delete convokers before they finish convoking? Oh, 100%. No, that was not on purpose what we did there. Oh, joy, there's also a Death Knight there? Oh, of course. Otherwise it'd be too easy, you know? Okay, immune to throwing. Nets, of course. Can I paralyze you? 27%. I mean, I can probably just kill you. In fact, let's go with the potion petition early on here. We get that heal wounds. You love to see it. And what can I do with all of you? Ice Blast, maybe not the way to go now that I've given it a moment of thought. Let's just try to soften you up with a wee spat of acid. Fantastic. And maybe some quick javelin work to put the icing on the cake. That should just about do it for us here. Fantastic. No, we need a better way of killing convokers. If we're going to continue going through vaults for too much longer here, we definitely need some method to just delete them before they get an opportunity. I guess if we had more throwing training, javelins would kind of fit the bill in that department. Unfortunately, though, we don't, so they don't. And boulder beetles, at the very least, not too much of an issue for us at the moment. Vegan Snacktivist. Huh, that's a nifty looking shield you got there. Unfortunately, I think it's just a cosmetic thing and only a ghost is allowed to use it, but very cool looking, and I wish I could. Ah. Sissy? This is one of those times. How do I kill you fast enough, my friend? 49 health. Have to do it in like 1, maybe 2 turns? I don't know if we can. And hey, Necrohol, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate it. It's been a hot minute for sure, but it's nice to see you again after a while. Thank you so much for dropping on by and dropping the Prime as well. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. Ice Blast. Ice Blast, come on. Yes. Heck yeah, buddy. We got there in the end, but just barely. I'm pretty sure another even like half a turn and we would have been absolutely boned. And are we ready now to take on St. Roca? I think so. We got most of your minions down and out for the count, so that is a huge get for us. But let's see. Oh my gosh, my St. Roca is apparently just straight up better than yours? That's right, they're better than yours. I could teach you. Oh my gosh, no, okay, I don't want to attack my ally. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. One downside of the Arc Blade. A little bit of a pain in the butt when we bring allies into the mix. I guess we could always just switch over to this son of a gun right here and use our crossbow a little more prodigiously, as it were. In fact, we can also just let St. Roca do a wee bit more of the heavy lifting. If you could take out your twin, or not, that's cool too. And now if you come next to us, oh me oh my. I was gonna say you'll be sorry, but turns out I'm the one who's sorry. And there we go. As our lovely Orc Warrior friend is no longer mited, it's the perfect time for us to make a quick escape and get the heck out of Dodge. Fortunately, St. Roca was pretty dang close to dead there. But on the flip side, always better to live another day than take any risk whatsoever. Shapeshifter could end up turning into something truly terrifying. Fortunately, they at least don't immediately do so. And again, that's why I felt like we didn't have resistance to electricity earlier, because that felt like a heck of a lot of damage. Jeez Louise. Let's see. Crossbow enough to kill you? Hey, crossbow is enough. Turns out I just had to believe. It's funny how often that's the case. But okie dokie, most of your pack is now down and out for the count, so Battle Cry becomes a lot less effective. Love to see it. And let's just wait here, I guess. No idea where Roca went? Hello? There you are. Hello, St. Roca. Now that it's just the two of us, how do I feel about my odds? Still not great, as we take a bunch of back-to-back smites. Part of it is obviously because we're running away. I mean, it's to be expected to a certain extent, but still not great. And Carl, you've been catching up on YouTube and thought, hey, it's Sunday, let's check if Torinski is streaming. Nice. Well, thank you so much for dropping on by. The content is goated, and it's getting you through the enormous boredom of writing a thesis. Well, I'm glad I can help out in any way I can. I wish you the best of luck with that, because I feel you there. Thesis papers are always a wee bit of a workhorse for sure. But I hope that it goes smoothly and you're done before too long and you can spend some time relaxing. And regardless, it is wonderful to have you around, so thanks for dropping on by. Okay, Roka. You know, I was afraid this is how it was going to go down. Well, let's get in a nice potion petition, get some nice heals in early. What can we do? I guess we maybe should have gone for the early Zom's chessboard piece and just hope for a good result and let the chips fall as they may after that. We also could try to paralyze you real quick. Not so much. Well, in that case, new plan, just like the old plan. We do a little loop-de-loop, and I'm gone. Like the wind. Can't hit what you can't see, baby. Birdie beat clicking time. Always the best part of the day, cocktail. Always super adorable. But okie dokie, let's take a brief moment before I immediately get myself killed by smashing my head face first into St. Roka over and over again. Just take a nice little breath, take a lovely sip of my beverage, and think about whether we want to continue in this line of reasoning, even just in vaults in general, or is there anywhere else we might want to move on to? In fact, are we ready for Stormbow? 13.4 in bows is a pretty hefty amount there, so we might be able to use said Stormbow efficiently. I think it's time. The you and I arranged a heart-to-heart, but also time for us to head up for the Stormbow. And let's pick up this son of a gun. Absolutely fantastic. So, when we swap over to this, attack delay is 1.1. Ooh, it is so close to once per turn. That's usually the kind of barometer that I like to put out there. If things attack once per turn, that's pretty solid. But I love this. Arc Blade and Stormbow on the same run. That's pretty sick. I'm a fan, to say the least. But, of course, if we want to use these to any reasonable effect, I'm going to need some arrows, baby. So let us do so. Oh, right, can't pick up that many items. You know, that makes sense, game. Wand of Flame, I think, can go for the time being. And now let's get arrows onto our auto pickup. And we can just keep blasting our way through a couple of these floor here. Or even these floors while we're at it. Get a nice amount of arrows. It's going to add up real quickly, fortunately. Especially here in Snake, there was a huge amount of arrows lying around. So let's make sure we're grabbing all of those while we're around and while we're at it. Oh, I see. Were these arrows for sale? Okay, I don't think we really want to buy arrows. I feel like there's an entire dungeon of them just lying around. So let's maybe do a wee bit of manual exploration here just to grab those sons of guns. 376, that's not too bad. Oh no, it takes so many turns, my precious score. Oh no! Fortunately, not something that I concern myself with too much. In fact, I guess we could have done a quick check. I'm kind of curious. 24,000 turns left before Zots find us. That's not too bad. Okie dokie, let's keep running around just a wee bit for these arrows. Don't know, do we want to drop crossbow and bolts right now, or should we save that for the future? No, I'm not too sure where I land on that one. Let's just head back to vaults for now, though, and that will be another nice influx of arrows, as I see just a bunch of piles of arrows on our way down, even. Not too bad, but as long as we can get a decent selection of these. Oh, I alt-tabbed. I thought, is my laptop making Windows noises at me? Nope, that was just me. And before I keep doing this, let's actually adjust this son of a gun to be R1. Hello, Samroka. Don't mind me, excuse me, pardon me. Maybe I do one of these real quick. Resist with almost no effort. Then I'm gone. It'll be like you never saw me, my friend. And we'll just head over this way once more. In fact, are you gonna come back this direction? Oh, heck yeah, you are. What do I get? Oh, I mighted you. I think that's just gonna be a ding-dong ditch moment for us then. And where's our final stair? Let's head over here real quick. Ooh, grab a metric crap ton of arrows. And, oh, hello there. Didn't realize quite how many friends we might have left behind here. Oh, that's gonna be St. Roka. How'd I guess, you know? Well, let's try this again here. Yeah, you're just gonna keep resisting. Oh, we confused you. Let's see how much damage we can put down while you're in a confused state, shall we? Turns out, short answer, a lot of damage. Holy moly. Okay, well that's one way to go about things. Not too shabby, and now we're pretty much good to just continue going. Ooh. Some fancy gloves. You don't say. Bardisha protection, draining, Bardisha venom. Ghosts are always slightly terrifying, but I could maybe take you. Let's think about that at another date, shall we? For the time being, we'll just continue our trek here, as it were. And we're gonna get quite the welcoming party, at least so it would seem. There we go. Let's take these friends on a bit of a journey, shall we? We can get smitten by our favorite Sphinx here, so let's be slightly cautious of that, of course, like we always are. I mean, when am I not cautious to the extreme? I definitely don't just do crazy things for the fun of it and get myself killed. Nah. St. Roka trying to spread the word of BO. Yeah, you hate to take them out when they're just doing the Lord's work, but hey. Unfortunately, we find ourselves on the wrong side of history when it comes to BO on this run, so it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta make do in life. Dang it, I was really hoping people would line up nicely. There we go. I mean, what's the point of having a penetration bow if I can't get it to do some good work in that department, you know? But that is much better. And we can probably just take care of these sons of guns as they make their way on over. Or, you know, bring them upstairs. That works for me as well. Have I watched any turn-based speedruns? It's almost like a different game. I think I've only seen one or two, but I do really like to talk about it. There have been a few times that we've had people in chat that were a bit more knowledgeable about both turn-based and real-time speedruns, and it's fascinating. Dr. Fire, you'd like to see one where someone talks about the speedrun strats? Exactly, that would be very much interested in that, because it's super cool to learn about kind of the different thought patterns that go into it. I think I've seen a couple real-time speedruns with narration over top, talking about their decisions. I think there's even one from Ultraviolent back in the day. It's really good for that. And yeah, I love hearing the reasoning that goes into every decision that's made in those different types of speedruns. It's super cool stuff. Okie dokie, let's continue meeting new people, making new friends, doing our best in this wide world we live in. Ooh, so that scroll, do I remember anything? It's either silence or brand weapon. Brand weapon is useless, but silence I can get down with. We probably are never going to use these enchant weapon scrolls, seeing as how we seem to have shifted a little bit away from that department. Do I give up on the Kite Shield of Reflection, maybe? Yeah, that seems fine by me for now. Regen sources seem to be valued quite highly in turn-based speedruns. That makes sense. Yeah, you just don't have the time to spend waiting around, letting your health get up naturally, hey? I mean, I think that's regen sources are just highly valued, period, especially for me, but I can imagine, especially so in speedruns. I guess that one would probably be one of the factors that is fairly consistent in any type of speedrun, whether it's turn count or real time. I think regen is just kind of absolutely goated when it comes to not needing to take your time too much and just blitzing your way through the levels. Now that is interesting. Let's get through this door before our Vault Warden friend shows up. And this is where we make all of our money back, because now we have this wonderful little hallway set up, and I can just keep blasting down it, hitting everyone. I was kind of hoping that we'd have some more company just so we could truly bask in the glory that is Stormbow in a hallway setup, but let's not get too crazy, because something like that can happen. Jeez Louise. These kids are not fooling around. Let's go for a small walk here, just a short gander, as it were. Yeah, you being mited is a problem, my friend. I think we might just have to ditch out for the time being. We'll try and deal with that group in a slightly more consistent manner as we go here. Colgate, before your first win, someone who did turn-based speedrunning was helping you, and their advice was somewhat skewed towards regen. Again, yeah, fair enough. It makes sense, to say the least. Though, I do find it relevant to reiterate that I would agree with that pretty much wholeheartedly, even for non-speedrunning situation, because there is something just truly solid about regeneration. I mean, we've already seen it a couple times this evening alone, where it's kind of given me the sustain that I needed to get through a crowd of enemies. Like when the mark trap went off in Snake, that so easily could have gone horribly wrong, but not nearly as much so thanks to the regen. So that's huge. Let's kill that Convoker right away. Fantastic. Man, this Stormbow is incredible, especially on a Formicid, don't get me wrong. There's some extra little kind of bonus going into this just by the fact that we can use it with a shield. But even that aside, I feel like we're in a pretty solid spot, all things considered. I also should have stayed in this hallway, but I didn't really realize. I'm so used to doorways being kind of misleading. I feel like so often I'm like, oh, go to the doorway. That's the best kind of funnel area. And then the enemies just decide to walk on through and crowd you because they're all friends that apparently worked together many times in the past, and you get rolled. But not today, my friends, not today. This son of a gun mites people, do you not? Yeah, you have battle cry. Why didn't you use it? I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm very happy you didn't use it. Ah. Now that's something. Immune to electricity, hey friend? Try and blast through and hit you, or not, I guess. New course of action, Convoker has to die. Convoker has died, that's good. Ooh, are you a problem, mited? Hit up for 35 damage? Nah. Especially magic regen as you were playing a caster. Oh, see, yeah, I didn't kind of think about where magic regen would play into it on a turn counter, a real-time speedrun. I guess it also makes the same amount of sense if you want to just be blasting casting your way through your entire adventure. That's the way to do it. Okie dokie, friend. What do I do against you? I wish we had some acid. Guess we can take a few steps back and let you do some Crystal Spear shenanigans. Oh, Barb. Oh, Barbara. That is real rough. What's my best out here? You're immune to, like, all elements. Guessing this doesn't work on you. Yeah, infinite will. That makes a certain amount of sense for sure. What about these. Ooh, nets do work on you. So I think what I might do... Oh, apparently our peacekeeper friend is going to jump in front of the bullet on this one. Well, okie dokie. Then let's net you. Pretty much guaranteed to go off, and that is fantastic. Oh, nets. What would I do without you? But not too shabby here, and we can switch back to the bow. That's a little peek as to how Zot's going to go for us. By the time we get to Zot, majority of things are going to be immune to electricity, so we'll have to start throwing some other strategies at the wall and see what sticks. Won't worry about that too much in the here and now. Of course, we still have plenty of game before it becomes relevant, but maybe something to keep in mind for the future. Magic rings giving 9 magic is also pretty big, as the regen scales from max magic. Really? The regen scales for max magic? Oh, I didn't realize it was like a percentage-based thing. I always assumed it was a flat rate. Is that your natural regen, or is that also the ego? 'Cause that's pretty wild. Huh, how about that? Oh, this is probably our crypt entrance, if I had to guess. Well, let's definitely get our friends to form an orderly queue, if you could be so kind. And again, it truly is just a thing of beauty, really, at the end of the day. Okay, I kind of wish there were more of you, but that's fine. We have 700 some arrows. Not in any real danger of running out anytime soon. So we can keep just spamming the ever-loving crap out of these. We're even down to 1 attack per turn now. So that is fantastic. You'll love to see it. I also love to see when the polearm user is in front, because if we had to deal with damage from 2 different skeletal warriors at once, we might have actually been in trouble, but nothing for us here. Egos do not scale, but the natural regen do. Okay, that makes sense. And also the biggest difference between streaking and turn-based speedrun you've seen is maybe direction that delvers go from D5. Because yeah, streaking you're going up, and speedruns of both kinds, I think for the most part, you're just immediately sprinting downwards on your delver. Try and take advantage of those free floors that you get. No, again, one of these days we're gonna have to try and do some full speedrun strats, because that's where it starts to get really fun. Is where it really deviates from your standard run. Because yeah, if you've learned anything by kind of what I always say for my favorite species or combos or anything in this game, it's usually anything that gets me to play differently than I have in the past that I enjoy. So speedrunning would definitely fit that bill nicely. And it would be a good breath of fresh air. Maybe if we ever get truly desperate, if we're like stuck on Mummy for an eternity, we can take some brief breaks in the interim with something like that. That could be fun. Let's see, who wore it best? Apparently I'm the greatest ranger that ever lived. Fantastic. Ooh, and another one of our crystalline friends. Well, how about that? So, if we've learned anything, we do this. I net you, and then I stab you. And it's that easy, folks. Perfect. So we have one more floor of vaults if we see fit to continue on. We're slowly regaining the money that we spent to grab the Stormbow, so that's pretty solid. Could be some more treasure as we continue on. I'm tempted to go to Elf now, because with the Stormbow, I feel like we can do some good work there. Especially with how quickly we were able to take out the Demonologist specifically. That's another precursor that... How the heck did I manage to spill myself there? Apparently I did this tiny motion with an absurd amount of force and everything just splashed over. Anyway, one of the precursors for Elf is being able to take out those summoners before it becomes too much of a problem, so Stormbow is pretty spectacular with that, to say the least. You think Bread Swinging was added back to game, which only matters for turn-based speedruns? That's something I'd have to refresh myself on, because it sounds familiar, and I feel like I've had it explained to me before, because it's basically that it's like a half-turn action, right? So certain things like regenerating health technically go faster if you're doing those actions instead, or something weird like that. So anytime you're forced to rest because you truly cannot go on without killing yourself, you just sit there and swing your bread around. I don't remember how the math works out or why it improves stuff. All I think I remember is that it does something to that extent. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong there.